Hey everybody, Nick here. Welcome back to the channel. So today's video I'm going to talk about what a lot of people are talking about these last few days or weeks, and that is the new YouTube AI age verification that they're going to be implementing, and it's actually going in today. Today's August the 13th, 2025. Now for me, if you are someone who researches what's going on in this world and is a truth seeker, you would know that this was a long time coming, okay? It's not a surprise to me at all. I think it's a terrible idea, obviously. Now, they always try to sell these things as a positive, as a great thing. Now, I'm going to just say one quick thing. If the people who were controlling these corporations and running the governments and things like that were generally good people, good-spirited people, not the people that we know are controlling this world, this realm, I'd have no problem with these implementations, these policies, really. But unfortunately, we don't live in that kind of reality. We know who are behind all of these corporations. We know who's running the show. And so, you see these things come up slow and steady. And I think that 2025 was a testing ground, not 2025, 2020 was a testing ground to see how people would fall in line, especially with the vax cards and IDs, and people, if you wanted to go to a restaurant or whatever, you had to show these things. I think that was kind of a testing ground. And to see if people would be okay with it. They always do that. They sort of try something and they see how much they can get away with it. So I haven't seen anything on my channel yet as of today so far. No messages. It's probably going to take a while I don't know whether this is going to affect everybody, if it's going to be part of the norm. I would have guessed that it's going to be something that you have to provide if you were to start a channel, or if you want to have an account so that you can watch videos. I think you can still watch videos even if you don't have an account, obviously. But it's very strange that there's a lot of things that you can be barred from if you don't verify your ID. There was a YouTube channel that I saw someone talking about on their channel. He had a channel for many years, had like hundreds of videos, and he got dinged with the ID verification. Now he has, apparently, if you have good channel history, that you don't even need to provide that. I don't know. When you leave something up to like an AI program or thing, there's gonna be glitches, especially if it's something new. So he got hit with that. He had to. I'm gonna show you images of what you have to provide or what you have to do in order to avoid this crap, if you are a YouTube user. But it's just, like I said, they try to sell it off to protect kids. And of course, we don't want underage people watching material on YouTube that is unsafe for them to watch and is inappropriate for them to watch. But it's been so long that they've probably had access to YouTube, and they're only implementing this now. I mean, because of AI. It's not about that. It's not about safety and security. Again, they always try to sell it off like, it's for your protection, it's for your safety. That seems to be the recurring theme here. So some of the things that you may be restricted if you are a YouTube content creator are live streaming. It could be limited or none at all. I'm just reading from what I'm seeing here. Custom thumbnails. Can't create a podcast. Content ID appeal. So somebody's using your material and you want to claim you won't be able to do that. They basically tie your hands if you don't provide your ID, which I will get into what the ramifications of that are. Embedded live streams will be impossible. One of the biggest things, which it's obvious that it's there, is you cannot apply to be monetized. So no fucking money. They cut you off from the source. And even if you've been earning money and you don't want to provide that, they can stop your monetization until you do. Now there are other ways you can avoid sharing your ID with YouTube, with Google, and it's like a 6-second video or like a verification video, good standing channel history, which I don't know how they are able to measure that. Plus I think that even though you can give them the 6-minute verification or 6-second verification video, they're probably going to end up having prompts where, oh, sorry, it didn't work. Please provide your ID, and you're eventually going to have to be forced to do it anyway, or you're cut off from being a content creator. It's similar to the facial recognition. It happened to me on this site that I use, a Brazilian site. It's kind of like the eBay for South America, and it's just terrible to try to access your account. There's no other way for you to access your account. You had to give them your ID. You have to do this and this. There's no way out. And every time you get locked out of your account, like if you sign out and then to sign in again, you have to scan your face, and it only really works on the phone. On the computer, it sucks, and it's just ridiculous. So the other thing is you can't add clickable links to your long form videos description, which is really weird. There's just a lot of weird things that they basically tie your hands and you can't do shit. You're gonna be forced. Pinning comments on videos and posts, which again, I don't know. Add a related video to your YouTube short. To me, this is just going the way of 1984, slowly but surely. We knew this was coming. So the other ways, hold on one second. Yeah, as I was saying, the build history as you grow. That's what they call it. And this is what it says. As you use YouTube and follow community guidelines, you build channel history. Once you have enough history, we'll automatically unlock features. This usually takes 2 months of active use. I don't know that I think this is just, they're not going to want people to, a lot of people don't want to wait 2 months. Okay, let's say that you could be monetized quickly. I don't know how often it happens, but people will want to get the access to the features quickly, so they'll just give the photo ID. The people who have no idea what's really behind all of this, and that essentially is them, harvesting people's information. What they could do with an image of your ID, I mean, only they know what they're probably going to do with it, but I know what they're going to do with it. It's insane. This is more control. That's all it's about, is more control, more access to our information. And unfortunately, there's so many content creators. There's so many people who have their businesses tied to this. They're gonna cave and do it. And the only way to stop that is for everyone to say no. We don't want to do this. We don't want this implementation of photo ID and they could, by the way, they could keep it up to 2 years. I read it from the YouTube site. They can keep your ID up to 2 years. The other thing that is kind of unsettling is there's always data breaches. There's always hackers. It happened to so many. You see it always come up on the news, where big companies get hacked and information leaked and stolen, quote unquote stolen. Who's to say this won't happen with Google? Who's to say that their security measures are impenetrable and that it's not going to happen to them? I just don't buy it. I think it's very possible, and this is probably millions upon millions. Like, this is so many people, so many accounts, so much information is on Google. It's ridiculous. It's probably one of the most used search engine / platforms on the internet is YouTube. One of the other main reasons I think for this that this is happening is they don't want the free flow of information. They don't want people to find out what's really going on, to research. So they're clamping down on all the big platforms, privacy wise. We're not going to have our privacy. They just don't. I think the internet is getting more and more controlled. I mean, it's obvious. I don't have to tell you guys that. More and more difficult to share information without sharing your information of who you are. So they're cracking down on that. I think eventually we're going to come to a point where all these platforms are going to require IDs. You got to give it to them, or you don't have any access. And they always hit it, like I said, with the money, the monetization of people for your channel or your content. But I think what's going to start happening is to use the internet in general. You're going to have to provide ID information. It's going to be so regulated and so difficult just to, when it comes to privacy, to avoid your giving up information, you just won't be able to access the internet. It's getting more and more controlled, and for many reasons. They don't, we know that the governments are all controlled by corporations, by the cabal, by the, some people call them globalists or whatever. This is just one more move towards global tyranny. I don't know whether people are going to have backlash against this. Especially the big YouTube content creators. They may just go with it because it's too much money at stake for them. So it's going to be very interesting what happens and if this is going to be implemented on every YouTube channel. The other thing that I think could happen, and this is just my prediction, but I think it could happen, they may even want people to show whether when they've come with, they're already coming out with the digital IDs and things like that. So once that comes out, they'll go together, with the IDs to access your accounts or whatever. You have to provide the digital ID, which will have all your information, bank information, the vaccine information. And if you're not up to date on your vaccines, guess what? No access of anything for you. This is where it's moving towards. This is where it's going, because they want everyone to have this stuff. Maybe other things are going to come down the pipeline for sure. Digital chip and all that stuff, whatever. It's just all they have to cover all the bases. They have to instill this first on the internet, because so many people are addicted to using, YouTube and whatever, everything else that's on the internet. So they know people are going to just cave and do it. Especially those who just didn't even question the narrative over the last bunch of years, especially in 2020. But that's what my prediction is. And it's only less than 5 years away. I think that it's going to be fully implemented. Not to mention the social credit system, and that all goes together too. And this is just another step in that direction for where we're headed to where we're headed. Anyways, don't think I left anything out. I think it's obviously a horrible idea. Hopefully there's going to be enough backlash. Hopefully people just refuse to do it. I don't know. Usually what they want, they end up getting these organizations, and just it's unbelievable. But it doesn't surprise me. Anyway, let me know what your comments are and thoughts about this. I think that it also is I don't know if this is going to be ID verification for just people who want to watch videos or have an account. I have no idea. Or if it's just going to be content creators. But you can best bet that it's going to be for everybody once eventually to even access the internet and information, and to track you whatever you're watching, whatever you're viewing, and so many different aspects of it that are just ridiculous. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye for now.